Okay, so haven't really had a chance to work on the monitor other than get a plan together because had kind of waiting on steel. The plan changed drastically from what my original intent was, but it's going to turn out better. Basically, the plan is to take a plate or make a plate that catches the bottom 4 bolt holes on this axle flange. So these guys here and then the 2 in the back make a plate that comes out, and then have a receiver socket in it that the entire rig slides into with a couple set screws to pin it so that you can clamp it tight and it won't be flopping around. It'll be held solid. And then bring it straight up until it meets about the fender, and then angle it, bring it up the front of the fender, and then turn it and have a box. One of Dad's suppliers has an electrical box. It's going to be like an actual wall mount, like industrial electrical box. It's called a hingeless. Basically, it has no hinge. You loosen the door up, and it just has a hook that's kind of shaped like this on the box that the door locks into. And once you pop the door loose, you can take the door, and it comes completely off the box. It's just an open panel, but it's sealed. It's dust and watertight. That way, the monitor and fold box are in a sealed box, and like if I have to leave the tractor outside, which once the tractor and planter get hooked up, they're probably not going to get unhooked until I'm done planting, so might be able to nose the tractor in the barn, but there's no place we have where the tractor and planter will be able to go in while hooked up. One day we'll be there, but it ain't going to happen yet. Even a new barn, probably have enough room, like I say, to either nose the tractor in or, well, I take that. Because it's one of them deals. It's a pain in the butt hooking and unhooking the white from the finisher. I mean, it's like a 15-20 minute process to do that with one person. So, do I leave the white hooked up and get this and the planter in the, I don't know. However it ends up working out. If I could build a 80 by 200 foot barn, I'd build an 80 by 200 foot barn, but A, I don't have the ground space to do it, and B, that's probably like a $200,000 barn right now. Anyway, so it's gonna be what did we determine, 2.5 by 2.5 or 2 by 2, whatever it is, a decent sized box tube coming up. Take that electrical box that's going to be mounted up here, punch a hole in it that's big enough to fish the wires through, weld that electrical box right to the top of the box tube, so the box tube will stub out right about here, so the electrical panel will end up right about here, kind of cocked at an angle, so you can be sitting in the seat and look over, and it's right here. And then the wire harnesses will stuff down through the hole in the box, feed down through the box tube, drill a rat hole in it down here so that you can fish the wire out going to the power, and you can fish the wires out going back to the planter hitch, and everything will be encased and protected in the box tube, and you'll have minimal tying and fidgeting around and whatnot. So, and then with that removable lid, when you're running the planter, you just take it and you carry it somewhere. And then, like I say, if you have to park the tractor outside overnight or leave it in a field or whatever happens, or you're stuck in a field and it starts raining, whatever, you slap the lid back on the box. The box is watertight, everything's protected, you're good to go. So that's kind of the plan there. But most of the material ain't gonna be here till Friday, so that's probably gonna be the vast majority of Saturday putting that together. So hopefully by Sunday we'll be able to hook the planter up, try it out. I'll start working on it Friday night, but probably won't get most of it done until Saturday afternoon. It won't, I mean, the fabbing up and everything ain't gonna be that big of a deal, and I probably won't worry about painting it right away because got more important things to do than beautifying it. And it's one of them deals where it might be a live entity and that we get it where we want it and get it functioning and run it for a season and decide, hey, we want to change this, so we cut it apart, modify it, or add something to it or whatever. So there really ain't no sense in painting it till next year anyhow. Or at least get through planning, make the modification we want, and then get it where we want it, and then go ahead and paint it this summer. Either way. So that's that. I just talked to Maybaugh about some sort of dyno break-in procedure for these, and it's kind of counterintuitive to what you would think. Most dyno procedures I've had, like there's a factory video, or it's like a dealer tech introduction video somewhere floating around here on YouTube for the American 60 and the American 80 white. And the break-in procedure on those is for like 20 minutes. You run it at like 10% load to warm the tractor up, and then for like 20 minutes you run it at like 50 or 60% load to set the rings, and then for like 30 or 40 minutes you pull it down to like 90% load or 95% load and let her hang there until the rings seat. Well, apparently these Aero engine kits that they put in these things, or that they make for these things, are tight enough that you can't really do that. He said, I talked to Aaron, he's one of the mechanics down there, fairly well versed for, I mean, he sounds like a younger guy on the phone. I wouldn't put him much out of his 30s, but could be older than that, I don't know. I'm bad at judging people on the phone, but he sounds young to me. He's helped me out on 310 stuff before, but he said these Aero kits are tight enough that if you try to do a break-in like that and you pull it down to its knees and let it hang there, you lock them up. They've had it happen before. He said once you get it warmed up, you can pull it down once to check horsepower. He said that's no problem, but he said don't pull it down and leave it there. He said they like to keep it between 50 and 75% horsepower for about the first 10 hours. So we'll take it up there, stick it on the dyno, give it a pull, probably run it for 45 minutes to an hour at, 80 horse or so. We'll give it a pull, check maximum horsepower, and then I'll probably use this thing to spread fertilizer since they want you to kind of take it easy on this kit apparently. And by the time I get done spreading fertilizer, we should be good. Which means I'll use Stumpy to finish chisel plowing. So that's where we're at on this. But since I can't really do anything as far as the monitor today, because I'm waiting on stuff to be able to do it, figured I'd put my Deluxe seat on. So this is the new bottom cover, and sorry I sound funny and I'm kind of sniffling. I've been fighting a cold since Saturday. It wasn't too bad Saturday, it wasn't too bad Sunday, and then I went to work Monday, and Monday afternoon I was going to rake the stones out of my yard before we got all this rain this week, and about 1:30, 2 o'clock on Monday, before I left work, that hit me like a freight train, and I started to just feel like crap, and I figured, okay, I just been up too long, I'll go home, take an hour nap, should be good. That was the worst thing I could have done. I went home, I laid down for an hour. Teeter woke me up because she wanted to go out and go to the bathroom. I woke up and I felt like I got hit by a dump truck. It was bad. So I didn't get shit done Monday. I went to bed by 11 or 7:30. But I can't explain to you how much nicer my new job is. Like, well, I never did tell anybody what I'm doing. So the guy, he farms somewhere between 500 and 600 acres. He hasn't told me exactly. I'll figure out eventually when we start planting, but he farms a little bit of ground. But his main thing that I was mainly hired for was he has a crop, or like an ag consulting business. He does soil sampling, tissue sampling, scouting if that's what his clients want, yeah, fertility recommendations. If anybody wants to do on-farm experiment or like on-farm experimentation or anything, he'll help kind of sort through all that and get experiments set up, whatnot. Basically, just like an ag consulting firm. So that's the main thing that I was hired for, and then to fill in during the slow times, I'm helping them out on the farm. Like this last 2 weeks that we've been getting a bunch of rain around here. I've basically been working in a shop. I got his bean planter put together. I'll tell you what, if anybody's ever thinking about buying a John Deere 7240 bean planter, don't. Not even the fact that it's a John Deere. It's just a pain in the dick to work on because it's a common bar planter, and you got literally full-size 7200 series row units just stacked right on top of each other, and it's such a pain in the ass to work on. But I've been working on that, and I worked on a dead smart just 4450 and working on the nurse tanks right now. But basically just busy work while we're waiting for it to quit freaking raining so we can go out and sample and not have a sample bag turn to mush in your hand because it's full of wet dirt. So anyway, back to the point. So Tuesday morning, I woke up at 6 because normally I get up to the shop about 7 because I don't actually have a set time I gotta be there. I've just been getting there at 7 and kind of doing my own thing because he stays down in the office and makes sampling maps and he's been just getting stuff ready so that when the weather does finally, turn, we can hit the ground running. And Monday or Tuesday, I woke up 6 o'clock so I can get there at 7. It's like, man, I'm just not really feeling this. I just wasn't quite there yet. So I just slept for another hour. Got up there about 8. Didn't have to ask permission. Nothing. Just said, hey, I got there. He was at a meeting or something that morning. So I got there. I did some stuff for a while. I had to run up to the Green Mark and get some parts for the planter. And got back, called him about 10 o'clock. Told him what was going on. Said, hey, I got here about 8. So I'm just going to work till 4 today. That'll be my 8 hours. He's like, not a problem. It's better for you to do that than to wear yourself out. Didn't have to ask permission, nothing, just did it. That's just great. If I was still doing something like that at Bear, they'd have made me take an hour of vacation for that. It's not like he'd have showed up late and worked for an hour or worked an hour over. They wouldn't let you do that. It's just. So anyway, we're putting the seat on. So this is the cushion, obviously. Your main backrest and then your extra backrest, and then this should be the bracket and the hardware right there. So I had to figure out what I need for tools right quick. Okay, it appears I can do this whole thing with a 1/2-inch ratchet, or a 1/2-inch socket and a 1/2-inch ratchet. And normally, if I can, I like to keep these seats, the cushions, original, like 1955, as far as I know, unless somebody's changed them in the past. They're still the original seat cushions. They're still in good shape. This tractor, unfortunately, spent a lot of its life, at least with the owner we bought it from, spent a lot of its life sitting in an open-sided lean-to. And the bottom cushion in these, the original ones, has a wood bottom in it, kind of like a plywood, and they do not cope well with sitting outside. And the wood in the bottom of it's getting a little doughy and it's getting a little loosey-goosey. And I don't want to go to be sitting on this thing one day and all of a sudden be sitting on the drawbar for some reason. So we're just going to replace it. I'll hang on to the cushions because, I mean, they're still in decent shape. The vinyl on them is excellent. So it might be such a thing as I could take them to an upholstery shop and get them redone. If we ever get another 50 series or 55 series, because they need the new style Bostrom suspension like this. But if we ever get another tractor that needs cushions, I'd have an original set of cushions to put back on it. Oh. Well, at least the back's been replaced at some point. It's a high capacity back. But the bottom definitely has not been, because high capacity bottom cushions have a steel pan in them when they're new. I wonder what would have made somebody put a new back on it and not. I didn't even know you could buy pieces separate, to be honest with you. This part kind of sucks. That would explain why the cushion in the vinyl on the backrest is in better shape than the lower, because the backrest has been replaced. I've actually still got the dadgummit. Still got the cushions, the original cushions for the 1600 around here somewhere too. Unless they got thrown out. I need to get a new seat for the white, but, or the 4150. I can't say the white now because we got two of them. Yeah, that's original. And that's what I'm scared of, is this. Oh, well, that thing's completely missing a bolt there. That bracket's loose. It's all rotten up in here. It was time for that one to get replaced. But like I say, the vinyl on it really ain't that bad. It's got a couple little blemishes in the top of the cushion, but nothing terrible. If you could put a new base on it, I think it'd be worth fixing to stick on a different tractor when the time comes. Now that I got everything apart, I should see if I can get this thing loose real quick, because these seats actually have 3 positions you can set the cushion in. You can have it flat, you can rock it a little bit, or rock it a little bit more, and you just turn this knob to do it. But that guy's a little froze. Let's see if I can unstick that real quick. Alright, I got that loose. That was a lot easier than I thought for how crusty it was. Basically just shot some PB Blaster on it, got on it with a pair of channel locks, went and it broke loose. So luckily it wasn't stuck. Now I tell you what, the one thing I am a little disappointed in, this is a high capacity seat assembly. It says high capacity right on the box. The shipping tape says high capacity on it. It has a high capacity made in the USA sticker on the side of the box. Okay, high capacity. If it's made in the USA, why did all the inspection stickers that I found on the cushions have Chinese characters on the inspector, you know, little dealio they put on there? And there's no made in the USA stickers on the cushions. Now the 1600 has got the same high capacity seat on it. Actually, it's the style that you see on the 1800 back there is the older style seat, but still it's a high capacity seat assembly. And it's got a right side up and an upside down on those brackets. The seat assembly on the 1600 actually has a made in the USA sticker right on the seat cushion. So what the hell, high capacity? Did you start making your shit overseas? And if you did, how come you're putting a made in the USA sticker on the box if the cushions aren't made in the USA? Because that's kind of some bullshit. But anyway, speaking of new jobs, this was my day today. I mean, nothing I've done so far has been overly hard. We've had one decent day of weather that we tried sampling and the four-wheeler broke down, so I ended up spending most of the day trying to figure that out and ended up having to take it to the Polaris dealer to get worked on because he was doing something stupid that I ain't never heard of. But anyway, today, this is what my day entailed. I went down to the shop, worked for an hour. My boss says, hey, there's an AgriGold meeting for tar spot I want to go to. So I worked in the shop for an hour. We drove up to Decatur, Michigan. Went to the, they rented out the VFW's Legion building up there. Sat in this meeting for 4 hours, learned some cool stuff. And then got a catered lunch. And then after that, on the way back, we swung by a farmer where he's looking to do some work with some on-farm experimentation for corn and soybean behind alfalfa hay mix and some nitrate fertility stuff, and just a couple of cool little farm experiments and whatnot. But and actually it's a little bit more than that. It's nitrate mineralization on manure application. That he could find very, very little research, the farmer could find very little research on. And this guy is the kind of guy that does his homework, so if he can't find the information he wants, it's because the information doesn't exist. But anyway, so spent about 2 hours there, and then I rode home rode back to the shop with the boss man, and we shot the shit for about 15 minutes in the driveway, and I came home. That was the extent of my day. I got paid to do that. No muss, no fuss, no stress, no nothing. Just, it is so much nicer. I can't even begin to tell you how much more relaxed I am working this place than I ever was working at Bayer. Tomorrow I'm going to an auction. He said, "Don't worry about it. Just go do your thing." I'm probably gonna. The auction doesn't start till 10, so I'm probably gonna go up to the farm and work in the shop for a couple hours before the auction, just to put some hours in and kind of bank some. And just because I kind of feel bad that I've only worked for him for not even 2 weeks yet, and I'm already taking a vacation day. But he told me not even to worry about it. He just said don't come in, but I'm just gonna go in there and put some hours in just so that I feel better about it. All I'm gonna do is sleep in anyhow if I don't go to work, so I might as well go to work. So there's that. Now I need, I'm gonna grab some bolts for that bottom cushion. Excuse me, bottom cushion real quick. Okay, so this is what the base on the new seats looks like. And there's the little Asian writing on the high capacity seats. It says made in USA on the box. Something's not adding up here. 2 and 2 don't make 5. But anyway. Huh. You know, they had 5/16 in there, but that hole's big enough for a 3/8. that might explain partly why that seat was so loosey-goosey. It fits a lot nicer with 3/8 bolts in that cushion instead of 5/16. But the way this works is you just, that handles, or that shaft has got, and it's kind of dark, that shaft's got 3 different height lugs on it, and you just turn it, and you got, well, that's obviously flat, and then you turn it, and you got a little bit, and then you got a lot. And I guess technically you got, that one is, there's kind of 1, so I guess technically you got 4. But, oh wow, that is, I gotta buy one of these backs from 1955. I like this. That's nice. I might try to, oh, that is so nice. I don't know why anybody wouldn't buy these now. That's, god dang. I like that. I like that a lot. Gives you something to put your armor on. Yeah. That's slick. I'm glad I got this. Sit up a lot higher too. That cushion's thicker by a lot. What am I hung up on? Oh, I bet it's stuck on the hitch pins. I carry my hitch pins under the seat on this thing, so I need to get a toolbox for it. Although really, wow, this thing sets you up like, it can't be much more than like 2 inches, but just looking down the hood, like, that sets you up a lot. Like, I need to move the, I like this so much better. I can't even begin to explain how excited I am. I like it. That was worth it. I'll tell you what. Huh. I honestly didn't figure that backrest would make that much of a difference, but I'll be damned if it does. Huh. That's gonna be handy. Well, anyhow, I gotta take this box out to the old fire pit, so I guess real quick, like, since I gotta head that way anyway, we'll go look at the wheat because it's woke up a lot. And I haven't actually looked at it since we've been getting this rain, but now the field actually looks green without having to like stare at it. So let's go take a peek real quick and then we'll wrap up here. Like, I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but like last Friday, you couldn't really tell that that field was green, and now standing back here, you can tell that field's green. I gotta go look at this field looks pretty good. The other one I planted, the big one, that one, I don't know, that one, it was awful wet when I planted it. I ain't gonna walk out there because I don't want to get my boots all, but that's not a bad little stand of wheat, I tell you what. Ain't nothing right here except damn wet spot, but I don't know what it is about this spot. There's tile here and this still stands full of water. I'll walk up here a bit where it's not so soggy and I can step out there. Look at the little guys. Knock on wood, so far I'm not really seeing any weeds either. But we're still kind of early. I think this is going to be a nice little field. Like I say, I gotta go look at the other. I'm gonna wait until it's a little drier. I'll go look at that other one Saturday or Sunday when I can actually go out and walk it, because that one we're gonna have to assess how much, look at it and see how much is worth keeping, and anything that if there's any major areas that just aren't gonna turn out, I'm probably gonna disc it down and go in and plant beans. That way I can make something off of it. But like, that's not, what the hell is that laying in the field? Like, I am very impressed, because for those of you that were around when I planted this, it was not ideal ground conditions. It was not ideal timing. There was a lot of skepticism. I didn't think that, I figured I was just planting a cover crop at this point. But this is a nice, I mean, normally you'd like to see it green and tiller it out before it goes dormant, or starting to tiller out before it goes dormant. But for, you know, late or middle of November planted wheat, I am thoroughly impressed. I think we're gonna have a pretty decent crop out of this, so definitely worth throwing some nitrogen at. So anyway, so that should answer everybody's wheat question. Just say, as soon as it I'll have to get the 540 shaft thrown in the tee, and as soon as it gets dry enough to get over this with a spreader without rutting it up, we're gonna get fertilizer spread on it, because we need to start getting this stuff something to feed on. Although, I mean, it is nice and fairly dark green for not having any fertilizer spread on it. I am like, I cannot even begin to describe how impressed I am. There are some yellow spots, but it's not a fertility thing. When did I notice it? Probably like a month or so ago, not quite. We got a frost, and I noticed it bit some of the tips of the leaves. So there's some spots that are a little lighter color. That's what that is frostbite. It's not any sort of nutrient deficiency that I could tell. Oh, her feet are gonna be terrible. So yeah, so far so good. That makes me happy. At least we'll have something to make a little bit of money off of. Of course, by the time we go to cut it, wheat prices will probably tank, but anyhow, I guess probably everybody's bored of me talking by now, so that's it for this one, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Sorry for my nasally voice. I really wish my nose would quit running right now. So take her easy.